Grumpy Monkey Up All Night by Suzanne Lang, illustrated by Max Lang. Jim Panzee is in a good mood for once. He's going to a sleepover at his parents' house, and Norman is coming too. Jim couldn't be more excited about the fun activities his family has planned. They will go termite fishing, bob for mangoes, and tell scary stories. Jim can't wait to stay up all night. But what happens when his little brother shows up? Let's find out. Early in the evening, just about supper time, Norman heard a whole lot of whooping and hollering next door.
What's the ruckus?
Norman asked his neighbor Jim Pansy.
I'm so excited!
Jim exclaimed.
I'm going to a sleepover at my parents' house. My whole family will be there. Mom, Dad, and my big sisters, Anne and Nan.
Who's that?
Asked Norman.
Oh yeah, my little brother Tim.
Grumbled Jim.
But never mind, it'll still be fun.
Sleepovers are a good time.
Norman agreed. Jim talked about all the great things he would do.
First, we'll go termite fishing. Next, we'll tell scary stories. Then we'll have a midnight feast and wash it down with some jungle punch.
I wouldn't drink punch too close to bedtime,
Norman advised.
Bedtime?
Exclaimed Jim.
Nobody sleeps at a sleepover. We're going to stay up all night.
Sounds fun,
said Norman.
Mind if I tag along?
A little later, they arrived at the tree where Jim's parents lived.
It's my little grumpy monkey.
Jim's mom cried as she gave him a hug.
I'm so happy to see you. Mom,
moaned Jim.
I'm not little, and I'm not a monkey. I'm an ape.
Jim's mom smiled and ruffled his fur.
But you sure are grumpy,
she said.
No, I'm not.
Jim scowled.
I like your mom,
said Norman.
No fair. You didn't say we could bring a friend,
said a voice coming down the path.
Who's that?
asked Norman.
Tim,
exclaimed Jim's family.
I thought you said he was your little brother,
said Norman.
I had a growth spurt,
said Tim.
What should we do first?
asked Jim's mom. Everyone answered at once.
Termite fishing! Pick fleas off each other! Pop for mangoes! I know,
said Tim.
Measure each other to see who's tallest.
Maybe our guest should choose, suggested Jim's dad, turning to Norman.
It's a tough decision,
said Norman.
It all sounds fun.
Don't worry,
said Anne.
There'll be plenty of time to do everything because we're going to stay
up all night,
cheered Jim and his siblings.
I don't know,
said Jim's mom.
Staying up all night could make for some very grumpy monkeys.
And then the games began. Termite fishing, flea picking, bobbing for mangoes, scary stories.
It was a dark and stormy night,
said Jim. Tim trembled.
Your brother's scared,
said Jim's mom.
Why not tell a happy story instead?
Midnight Feast.
Hey, you have to share the jungle punch. But you didn't share the bananas.
Stay up all night,
It's really dark.
said Tim, looking around.
Because it's night.
Snapped Jim,
Are you grumpy?
asked Tim,
No.
said Jim. Just then they heard a noise.
Thunder!
Shouted Tim, and his eyes went wide.
Oh no! It's dark and stormy. Don't worry.
Said Jim.
It's just Norman snoring. He does lots of funny snores. Sometimes it sounds like wow, 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 wow. And sometimes it sounds like ooh, ooh. Other times it's like
Tim laughed. Jim and Tim laughed and laughed all night long. As the sun came up, Tim fell asleep,
Good idea, little brother.
said Jim as he tucked Tim in and lay down. But just as he was about to close his eyes,
Good morning, my monkeys.
sang Jim's mom.
Mom,
Shouted Jim.
we're not monkeys. We're apes.
I prefer gorilla, but yeah, ape works.
Said Norman.
Oh, Jim, I told you staying up all night would make you grumpy.
Said Jim's mom, ruffling his fur.
I'm not.
You'll always be my grumpy monkey, whispered Jim's mom. The end. If you haven't checked out the other stories from Chimpanzee, check out Grumpy Monkey and Grumpy Monkey Party Time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to our channel by hitting the big red subscribe button below and check out more fun stories on our channel. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share our video with friends and family. There's nothing like reading a real book. You can grab a copy from your local library, or you can buy one online or in store. You can give us feedback on our Facebook page so we know what you're liking and we continue to bring you more and more and more stories.
And keep reading.